Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, make sure you hit that subscribe button and become part of the family because it gets lit over here. So I wanted to talk about something today because it's been sitting pretty heavy on my mind lately, and it's about being self-aware. Being self-aware doesn't make your life easier, it actually makes it heavier. And here's what I mean by that. There is a certain curse you get from seeing everything clearly. You kind of always see people's patterns, their intentions, and their BS usually before everybody else does, and that is just like, I don't know, it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. It's like when you realize someone's red flags in real time, but you still have to deal with that person even though you know they're red flags. You know probably what they're about to say or do, or what their intentions are behind what they're saying or doing. It's like you want to separate yourself but you can't for some reason. Like it's almost like you just have to deal with them. You catch certain, like, I don't know, like social cues that most people don't because they're not even thinking of it. Me specifically, I've realized when people are just being transactional with me, and I always say this because like typically a lot of people always follow the same playbook when they want something from me, or they'll go like in many different fonts though. Like I know there's many different versions of the playbook, but it's still the same strategies and structure. I don't know, for me it's kind of like I can't unsee your red flags or your patterns or your bad habits or anything like that, because now I already see you for what you are. And this is like with friends, with family, men, society in general. Again, if you are an avid user of my channel, you know who David is. I cannot unsee David as if he's not a monster, because that's only who he portrayed himself to be to me. So if he were to actually have, let's say, like, you know, years and years gone by and he actually did the work to change, I'm never gonna believe it, because all I know is you being a monster, and you've proved that time and time again so thoroughly. It's like I can never believe you even if you do become a good person, which, you know, doesn't really happen in his case, but still it's kind of like you're always going to be a monster. So I don't know, like it's like I see you for who you really are. Number 2, self-awareness makes socializing a lot harder. When I tell y'all, I never want to leave my house. Like it's getting to a point where people will invite me places, especially with new people, and I'll be like, I do not want to go. I do not want to deal with that. Like I don't know what that person might have to offer, what they got going on, and I don't want to be able to see it tonight. For me, I feel like every room I'm able to walk in, I can read the room way too well, to the point where I almost don't want to be there, because I know which character everyone's going to play in the circumstance that we're in. Like, I remember I was working a 9 to 5, right? And there was this one other black woman there, but every time she spoke, it was almost like people just didn't listen to her. Like they would roll their eyes, they'd start chewing their gum louder, they would look off into the sunset somewhere, and then when she looks them in their eyes, they would kind of look at her like she has 8 heads. And then when we get out of a meeting, they're very sweet to her, asking her how she's doing, how's her kids and all of that. And I'm just like, okay, so this is the, you know, play the game corporate 9 to 5 aesthetic, where we act like we care and we really don't, and then we treat people in terrible ways. So again, and that's the thing, like and that was, y'all, that was literally like my first week at that company, and I was like, I already know how all of this is about to go. I don't want to deal with this. At least, again, I can always only speak for what I know best, and that's being a black woman. I know when you're treating me differently because I'm a black woman. And again, people actually make it real obvious, but people always deny it or try to gaslight me and be like, no, like I didn't do that because X, Y, and Z, or no, we didn't choose this person to go with because you're black, or no. I know when it's that. Like I think I have enough discernment to know when you're being like genuine rather than when this is a biased situation, because I've been in this situation too many times to tell. And it's almost weird because I can always tell when someone else is trying to study me and try to figure me out. So for instance, when it comes to like working in like the 9 to 5 workspace, I'm usually very quiet, and then random days I'll be very talkative and outgoing, and then the next day I'll be kind of chill and mellow, and then the next day I'm like super funny, making everyone laugh. 9 times out of 10 it's because I don't want people to try and put this one persona or personality on me, but 2, I always know people are trying to figure me out when they don't speak to me and they're just sitting there looking at me or asking very weird questions, trying to figure out what archetype of a black woman I am. And I think that is like the craziest thing ever, because it's like I know what you're doing and you're trying to figure out what I'm doing. So it's like, stop. Number 3, when it comes to self-awareness, there's always the burden of having to be the bigger person. Ugh. I can't tell, it's like almost every situation I've gone through, I've had to be the bigger person because 1, I didn't want to like die, or 2, it's like I just didn't feel like going back and forth or arguing or fighting or doing something with that person that I just didn't feel was worth it. So I had to be the bigger person and walk away, or just not respond, or don't give it any engagement, or, you know, just act in ways that'll, you know, keep the engagement from being on me. Emotional maturity makes you bite your tongue more than you should, because a lot of people don't want that one person in the room to say that one thing that everyone is thinking. They don't want you to do that. But in my head, I'm always like, I should say it. Like, I should say it because y'all don't want me to say it. Specifically in situations when it comes to like people in the workplace, or like just older people in general, I can always tell when someone's projecting, but I'm not allowed to say that because obviously, since I'm younger than this person, it might come off as me being disrespectful or me talking out of turn if you're in the workplace, or, you know, my society likes to call it being a hater. But really, when you call out things that's just BS, people try to dub it as other than you being self-aware and you know what's going on, because people want you to think a certain way or have you thinking that it's one thing when it's really another. Knowing when someone acts a certain way doesn't make their actions okay just because everyone else doesn't know it. So one instance I can think of, and again, if you've seen my, what is it called? I think it's called like I Played the Player video, where I talk about papas. One thing I said in that video is that I was self-aware before we even got into anything. I was self-aware the night I met him. I knew what was going to happen, and I kind of knew how long it was going to happen because I knew I wanted to play that game. I was like, again, this is gonna end when I wanted to, but I know if I let you play this game with me and I don't do anything, this is gonna go on for years and years and years at a time. So I felt like I had to go the extra mile. Like I had to show papas that I'm more mad than you. This is why I'm doing this to you. And it was one of those things where it was just like, I'm gonna do this because you think I can't, and I'm gonna do this because I know you've never seen it before. Me and every other person who probably doesn't know you that well are not the same. I'm gonna give you everything you could ever want from a girl and more. Even if it's bad, even if things shouldn't have taken place or things I shouldn't have been doing to enable his behavior, I did it just to flip the switch. I had to play the long game because I knew he was being strategic. And again, you know, it's not something I'm proud of, because what it showed me was that I'm able to do 100% what men can do and even worse. But at the same time, it was kind of like, oh, like this is disrespect. So if you're gonna get disrespectful, the childish in me was like, oh, I'll get disrespectful back, but I'll do it worse. So, and that's the thing about being self-aware. Like, I always know what's happening, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it, but there's always good intent behind it, because it's almost like I'm only doing this because no one else understands. No one else is as self-aware as I feel I am, and maybe they are, but they don't say it out loud. Of course, for the sake of this video, I'm just explaining what self-aware looks like for me and to me. You can explain your trauma to some people and things won't change. And I'd go as far as to say even they probably don't even care, because everyone, I feel like a lot of people, if not all, feel like the trauma that they've been through is the absolute worst on earth. So it's like, how could you be trying to tell me your trauma or tell me how to act in response to your triggers and who you are and what you've been through when I've been through worse than you? I feel like as we move through earth and like society and just the state of society right now, everyone feels like who they are is the main character, and whatever they've been through has absolutely been the worst. And granted, some people do have way worse stories and trauma than others, and some don't, but they think that they do. And that's what makes things worse when you're a self-aware person, because it's just like you have no idea what's out there and what has been done, but here you are. Or so awareness without power equals frustration. For me, when it comes to being self-aware, I've noticed that just because there's a system in place doesn't mean I can beat it. And unfortunately, again, I can only speak from my experience as I know it best. It's because I'm a Black woman. None of the systems, I'd argue to say, in the entire world were made for us to succeed in. If we do, it's because we beat the odds and we found loopholes and we did what we needed to do. But most systems we cannot beat. And I feel like, you know, it's the year 2025, and we've seen that in literally the last 5 years in so many different situations. I know, let's speak for like let's say dating. I don't have a desire to date anymore, But when I did, it always felt like, oh, like, why am I being last to be chosen? But if, let's say I am chosen, I'm treated as if I'm all the way in the back, or I'm just not a priority, or I'm not worth something special. It always feels like that. And you know, I feel like that's the system of dating that we have in the world. Being a black woman, there's the system of colorism, there's featureism, likeness, race, intersectionality, all these things that come into play, all these systems that come before you being a black woman. It's crazy, because what I see through other black women is that even though these systems are in place, we still kind of crave love. It's almost like we have this endless hope that it'll happen for us, and for some of it does. But you know, as society goes on, it just seems like things probably won't get better when it comes to, you know, black women finding the love, the nurture, the care, and everything that they do deserve. And number 5, there is a double-edged sword of healing. When you heal, it can make you lonelier for a number of reasons. To me, I feel like healing is all about realization. When you realize what's been said and done to you, it kind of pushes you away from others, because you see it for face value and what the situation actually was, and you see that person for who they are. So for my case, when I have situations where people treated me absolutely terrible, like they treated me like the dirt on the bottom of their shoe, it's because they literally think that way. Like they literally feel as if that's true, and they treated me like it. So when I look at these people now, or I hear these people's names, and I just don't get a good feeling, and I'm uncomfortable and I'm defensive, it's because I know who these people are. I'm self-aware enough to know that these are not good people if you would treat someone how you treated me. When I say like push away, it pushes me away from others. Like when I get like an inkling that, you know, friends or relationships that I've been in the past kind of have the same traits, it makes me not want to engage, because you'll either have the same traits or worse, or too similar to the point where it's not even worth dealing with. I can give a small example for that. It's like when people constantly try to say like, oh, I'm a good person, and then they don't display any traits, they don't do anything that makes you see that they're an actual good person, rather than them trying to prove to themselves that they're a good person, when they know, and you know, really, I know, being self-aware, that they're really not a good person, but that's what they want you to see them as. When it comes to being self-aware and healing, I've seen how dangerous it can get, and what it takes to actually realize and heal, and that's tough. In general, I feel like my tolerance for BS is a lot lower. One thing my best friend always tells me is, she's just like, I feel like you've just been through a lot of BS. At this point, it doesn't even faze you, because you already know how it's gonna go. Like, she always says that, and low-key, she's not wrong. Like, I always know what someone's about to say next, what they're about to do next, what they want when they don't even say it. Like, it's just a reoccurring thing. So like, when I kind of understand it and I comprehend what's going on, I kind of just like abort mission, and I kind of just like disappear. Number 6, knowing yourself makes the world feel so fake. The more real you become, the more others feel fake. I can spot people's mask and their like branding tactics like clockwork. In that video of I Played the Player, there was a point in the video where I added in a screenshot of what Papa's texted me, and he said something along the lines of, I know you're happy, I know you're not mad, I'm sure you're probably even happy, but I'm just giving you apologetic energy. And once I knew that, 1, it was Papa sending me that text message, 2, I had to deep it a little bit, because I'm just like, well, if you knew that I was happy and we just stopped speaking, because that was the situation, I had to stop speaking to him because he was trying to play the game on me. I did this whole thing, and then, you know, I disappeared. If you knew what you were doing and that I wasn't upset at you because you think you did nothing wrong, why are you apologetic? Because you know you did something harmful? You know you were faking it to be this nice guy who, you know, fakes the emotional intelligence and, you know, has the smarts and the street smarts and the book smarts to, you know, engage with women on a deeper level. You faked all of that, and I knew it from jump. So what are you apologetic for if you didn't do anything? It just makes me wonder. I don't know, that kind of just told me that he knew the game he was playing with me in hopes that I didn't, and I ended up saying checkmate. And this is why I'm saying, like, being self-aware is not fun, because when you realize what people are doing, you're gonna, like I said earlier in the video, ignorance is bliss. Like, you're gonna wish you didn't know, because it's just like, you can't hate what you don't know. When you don't hate what you don't know, you're kind of happier because you don't know it's happening. But when you come to a realization of who someone is and who they are to you and what they've been doing to you, is kind of like soul crushing, because it's just like, why couldn't you treat me as a human? Or why couldn't you just be a better human? Being self-aware, again, it's all the things. It makes you lonely. It makes you not want to engage with anyone. It makes you turn off whatever goals you have for the future when it comes to everyday stuff that people would want, like companionship, families, friends, all this stuff. And it's just like, in a world where most people don't pride themselves in being good people and practice what they preach, yeah, I don't know about that. That's pretty much all for this video. Let me know in the comments how you felt. Are you a self-aware person? Do you know someone who's always really self-aware of what's around them, what's happening, and things of that nature? Also, make sure to put in the comments if I left anything out or what you think primarily about the topic. Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to say I love you so much for watching my videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.